Good morning. Mwauka bwanji. Tatule yasuka. Mwauka bwanji. Mwauka buti. Muzuile. Well, I would like to recognize the presence of the former Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the Vice UKA Chairperson, President Shalakateka, the UKA members, and other UKA presidents. We also want to recognize the presence of the media houses that are present here. We are all going to stand and then sing the national anthem before we can continue. Stand and sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for their rights. We've won freedom's fight. Oh, one strong and free. Praise be to God. Bless our great nation. Free men we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia. Praise to thee, oh, one strong and free. Shall we pray? Our Father and our God, we want to thank you this morning. We thank you for your Lordship. We thank you that you do not change. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. We want to thank you for this very important gathering here. Lord, we commit it in your very capable hands. There are issues that we would like to present before you and also to the people of Zambia this morning. I pray committing all the UKA Council of Presidents and all the UKA leaders, the media houses, and every person present here. Father, may you begin with us and see us through, because we know that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit. May you begin with us and see us through. Through your Son, Jesus, we have prayed with a lot of thanksgiving in our hearts, even as we all agree and say amen. Amen. May we allow our leaders to sit, please. Nami pokelela nakulandilani, and I want you to be at home. Don't feel at home, because you may feel and not feel. The reason that we have gathered here and the leaders of UKA, there are some very important national issues that they would like to address and bring to the attention of the nation and also to the leader of the nation, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Amongst the agenda that we have this morning, it's actually the Zambia and the SADC issue, and also the high cost of living that has been prevailing, and also the Zambif saga. There are other issues that will be addressed. At this point, I would like to hand over to the Vice UKA Chair, Madam President Shalakateka, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Former Republican President, Dr. ECL, my fellow UKA leaders, members of the press, I want to welcome you to this press briefing And as the Master of Ceremony has said, we want to cover a number of very important issues. Before I do that, I want to just bring greetings from our chairman. He's away at the moment, out of the country. He said, please pass my regards to everyone. So I'm passing those regards. Secondly, I wanted to let you all know that one of our UKA members is in court, and that is President Sean Tembo. And then Madam Edith Nawakwi is currently in India at the moment, and hence you do not see them here. The chair of nation, he's out of. So yes, we also had Madam Imboela, President Imboela. Yesterday, she remember she has been in cells since last week, but yesterday she was taken to court and they extended her police bond, which means she came out yesterday. So she is a bit tired and may be joining us a little bit later on. Without wasting too much time, I would like to ask President Kalaba to speak to some issues. He will introduce what those issues are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will ride on the protocols already highlighted by our Vice Chairperson, but I also want to recognize the presence of the 60th Republican President, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa, Lungu, who is here with us present. Countrymen and women, the country is faced with an existential threat owing to the conduct of an intolerant leader. How is it that under a president who swore an oath to uphold the Constitution and guarantee the peace and freedom of the citizens, we can have less than 5 rallies approved across all parties in Zambia? How do you explain the increase in the number of abductions, including extrajudicial killings, at the hands of the police force? How do you explain the arbitrary arrests that have taken place under this government's watch, to the extent of which we never saw under the MMD's 20-year rule and the PF's 10-year rule? Mr. President, how do you justify all these arrests you have made on opposition leaders, and yet you want people to be celebrating you as a peace builder? Show me a self-centered leader in the history of Zambia today. I will show you a narcissist personality. And for the avoidance of doubt, a narcissistic personality is a condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. The failure of this government is not as a result of having a heavy-handed and unprofessional police force headed by a trigger-happy Musamba. Its failure to uphold the rule of law is as a result of having a president who has a high self-worth and continues to lie through his teeth with a straight face while seeking to allocate blame on others. We have a president who is busy lying to the international community that Zambia is in the Champions League, but he is busy trying to drag men and women in uniform into partisan politics with a view to be spying and disrupting opposition activities using state apparatus. He is busy telling the IMF and the World Bank that we are open for transparent, corruption-free business, but on the other hand, he is busy having backhands in all the transactions taking place in the country through known cronies and proxies. And when opposition leaders call him out, the next thing you hear is that they have been arrested. We want to save notice on the president that no amount of intimidation will prolong his hold on to power beyond 2026. Your actions, Mr. President, have shown to the people of Zambia that you do not deserve their trust. And for that reason, you are going south.
Yes.
I also want to serve notice on those compromised men and women in uniform who think they can wrestle against the will of the people. Watch this space. This UKA force is moving, and it has the support of the people of Zambia with the mandate to rid this nation of liars in the corridors of power, to get rid of a repressive and corrupt government, and to get rid of a regionalist who is dividing the nation in the name of affirmative action. Hear us, and hear us right. No amount of arrests will deter the will of the people. No matter how many of us you arrest, the collective will of the people will not be broken. We shall continue to soldier on until the UPND is kicked out of office on August 13th, 2026. We are ready. Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair, once again. I think the nation has come to realize or to be informed that President Hakainde Hichilema is not traveling for the SADC summit in Zimbabwe, which will be happening tomorrow, Saturday. The President has continued to shun activities that have been happening in our neighboring country, neighboring ally, a country that we shared ties with as part of the Federation. Zimbabwe was one of our closest allies, but today Zimbabwe is being turned into a foe by Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. Hichilema must understand the implications of staying away from a SADC summit. He must know that Zambia has played a very pivotal role in the creation of SADC, even before it was called SADC. And therefore, it is important for Zambia to keep at that role. But for Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to choose to stay away from such an important event for his own non-personal reasons is a disgrace and a shame to our country.
Shame.
This man is taking us away from people that should be our friends. He's making our friends begin looking like enemies. We should not allow that as Zambians. And therefore, for us, we are telling Mr. Hichilema, please, don't create enemies where there are no enemies. Mr. Hichilema, please, can you please travel to Zimbabwe?
Yes.
You didn't attend the inauguration of your brother. We thought that you were busy and you sent your foreign minister. But you are making it a trend. We know that you didn't go to Rwanda also to attend President Kagame's inauguration. It is important that you go and attend that ceremony happening in Zimbabwe. I want to say this. Where I come from, they say, Ushiram temboa mnanko. No wako winefe upokwa. Zambia will be hosting events here as well as in the very near future. If we don't support neighbors like Zimbabwe, who will come and attend our events? Please, if you have problems with President Mnangagwa, go and sort it out there, go and face him, go and sort out those issues. And we have said before, if Zambia is really having big challenges with Zimbabwe, when Zambia had a challenge with China, President Sata then, when PF won the elections, sent President Kaunda and the Board of Ministers to Beijing. Today, we all know that President Lungu and President Mnangagwa enjoy a great relationship.
Yes.
What is wrong with using the arsenal that you have?
Yes.
Even if you don't agree on personal grounds, for the sake of the country, show leadership that you can use one of your own to go and pacify the perceived challenges that you have. So we are encouraging you, Mr. President, don't beat about the bush. When you come back from where you are in Luapula, pick up a call President Lungu, and travel with him to SADC tomorrow. We want the relations of Zambia and Zimbabwe to be strengthened. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, President Kalaba. Very interesting, actually. And yeah, it's the right thing to do. Why not send a former head of state to go and calm the waters and put the oil on the waters. Yeah. So we are now going to hear from President Silahwe, and he will introduce his subject matter.
Good morning, everyone. Mauka Bwanji. Akwaya Mauka Bwanji. Machedo Akwaya. I will be speaking to the subject of the high cost of living, its implications on the Zambian people, households, businesses, as well as at macro level. The 6th Republican President of Zambia, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the UKA Vice National Chairperson, President Shalakateka, the United Kwacha Alliance presidents present here and those that are not present. I've seen UKA leaders in various capacities, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, including the UKA choir, which came late. Colleagues, President Hakainde Hichilema stated in his address to a rally 2 days ago that he is now glued to the seat of power. That it is impossible now to remove him. I have a little news from the United Kwacha Alliance. We've got news for him. We will still kick him out of power together with the same seat.
Yes.
And we are going to make a new one that will accommodate all the Zambians.
Yes.
Lekeni nande muchibemba. Bakateka Hakainde Hichilema. Bachalo chesu icha Zambia kufika mu 2026 nangula before. Uyo mupando mkakatireko. Tukamfunyapo na owine.
Okay.
Ero tukapanga omupando wako sa pakweba tabena Zambia bonse bakekala. Ubuteko bw'abantu ubwa UKA. So that's it, you can keep it. We'll make a new one. The economic pain facing our people is real. The economic pain of failing to put food on the table for the family to eat. The pain of walking home because you cannot afford bus fare. The pain of parking your vehicle because you cannot afford fuel. The pain of failing to study because of no ZESCO. And an exam is coming up. Yes, fellow Zambians, the pain of losing a job because the company you work for cannot afford you anymore. The pain of refunding a client the money you need so much because there is no ZESCO for you to complete the work. The pain of closing down your business because the sales are low and the business cannot meet the costs. The pain of failing to travel for a funeral of a relative, a friend or a loved one because one cannot afford the bus fare. Yes, the economic pain of being in the sun the whole day and no customers come to buy your commodity. Colleagues, the pain of graduating and yet you have no job.
Sad.
The pain of waking up in the morning and you have to prepare 4 children to go to school in the morning, and yet there is no ZESCO. The pain of a laptop switching off when your assignment is due. The pain of a young man on a debt, sipping on water and pretending to be full, yet because he's got no source of income. Yes, colleagues, the economic pain facing the people of Zambia is real. The pain of seeing the ruling party leaders and cadres collect money through consent judgments. And you, the voter, has got no money in your pockets. The pain of opening up your shop or cantemba and knocking off with nothing, taking home nothing. The pain of seeing your children expecting food, and yet you have nothing when you walk through that door. This is the kind of pain that the people of Zambia are going through. Your Excellency, the pain of going to church, and you want to give an offering, and you've got nothing in your pocket. And that pain, Your Excellency, is double-edged sword. You experience the pain of not giving, and also your pastor of not receiving an offering.
How can you be blessed?
The pain of not being given medicine at the clinic or hospital, but be given a prescription and you have got no money to buy that medicine. The pain of your spouse leaving because you are not financially stable. The pain of failing to send a little money to your mother or your father back home because you have got no source of income. The pain of seeing your loved ones, Your Excellency, being unfairly or being politically persecuted by a justice system that needs to be fair and impartial. The pain of seeing people commit crimes belonging to a ruling party and yet they are not penalized. This is the pain that we are experiencing as Zambian people. The pain of vacating a house, a room, or an apartment because all of a sudden you cannot afford to pay for it. Fellow Zambians, I sit here today and before you to tell you that we share your pain. We understand your pain. We feel your pain because every minute, every second, every minute, every hour, and every month, and every year of the UPND, we are also living in pain. The United Kwacha Alliance is in pain with you. And we want to assure you that we understand what you're going through. The high cost of living and doing business continues to be out of reach of many ordinary Zambian people. Lusaka is the 25th most expensive city in Africa to live in. More than 64% of all Zambians live below the poverty datum line. I know you do not need these statistics because as you are listening or watching this broadcast, you are a statistic yourself. Because Balanda Muchibemba, kweba tichikalipa. The price of essential goods and services such as food, accommodation, transport, and healthcare and education remain very high for ordinary Zambians. Once again, like the structural adjustment programs of the 90s, Zambians are being subjected to very painful economic conditions. For the sake of our people going through economic pain, we, the United Kwacha Alliance, once again put forward these solutions to the President and his government to do the following. At macro level, 1, the President must call for a national stakeholder economic indaba, a multi-stakeholder economic indaba. The outcome of this proposal is that Zambia needs fresh economic ideas owned by the people of Zambia themselves.
Yes.
Number 2, the President and his cabinet must constitute a broad-based high-level economic management team to advise him on the economy. Clearly, the Republican President and they that rule with him, they have failed us economically.
Yes, they have.
The outcome is to help implement economic policies that will revamp the Zambian economy beyond the press conference lectures and graphs that we have been subjected to. Zambia needs real food. Zambians need real food. Needs real food in their pots, not on paper, in their pots,
Yes.
in their kitchen, in their homes.
Yes.
That is what the Zambian people need. So the graphs and curves that the President has been showing us can be reserved for the intellectually correct and those that want to just do economics on paper. For an ordinary Zambian person, economics imumala.
Utoshi.
Economics kuchta afford ingandole ikalamo. Economics is to have a job, ukukwata source of income,
Yes.
so that as a human being you can live in dignity and not be a beggar and live in squalor.
Yeah.
Colleagues, number 3, increase government revenue through the low-hanging minerals such as sugilite, gold, and lithium. The outcome, we can add $500 million to $1.5 billion per year into the local economy so that we can be able to stabilize our economy.
Yes.
Number 4, end tax holidays and increase taxes from the foreign mining companies
Exactly.
and other multinational companies. The outcome of this measure is that we will have new money in the local economy,
Simple.
stabilizing the kwacha and making sure that every Zambian has got more money in their pockets.
Yes.
Number 5, you need to expand the local private sector and unleash its full potential.
Yes.
This is the only government I've seen that persecutes its own citizens, that are trying to put a dent on the poverty of the country.
Imagine.
We have lost the moral compass of fighting ourselves. It is time to bring our people economically together.
Yes.
We will need to ensure that we invest, number 6, invest 1 to 2 billion directly in 10,000 new high-quality local startups in agriculture,
Yes.
energy, creative industries, mining and technology.
Yes.
The outcome of this measure will create 50 to 100,000 jobs directly in the private sector for the next 2 to 3 years.
Can you repeat
And that investment, thank you very much.
Please repeat that.
Baba Isichale Dibalomba Timbweke Shepo.
Simple.
Lekeni Mbweke Shepo. Nawela reverse. Number 6, invest $1 to $2 billion directly in 10,000 new high-quality local startups in agriculture, energy, creative industries, mining, and technology.
Yes.
The outcome of this measure will create 50 to 100,000 jobs directly per year in the next jobs directly in the next 2 to 3 years. And this investment will grow approximately to 4.5 billion United States dollars to the Zambian economy. Imagine that amount being added to our economy. Number 7, massive agricultural investment in the northern region of Zambia, looking at the current weather patterns experiencing in our country.
Yeah.
The outcome, we need to make our country food secure.
Yes.
Dr. Kaunda, in one of his speeches, may he so rest in peace, our founding president, said it is embarrassing for a nation to fail to feed itself. End of quote. Mr. President and your government, you sold our strategic maize reserves.
Imagine.
You sold our strategic maize reserves. You overused our water in Kariba Dam and proclaimed publicly that there was no load shedding. We need solutions from you.
Yes.
And I quote one Republican president, President Hakainde Hichilema, who said, when the leaders do not provide solutions, the leaders themselves become a problem.
Yes.
And they must be removed.
Yes.
End of quote. By the way, the media, that is a quote from President Hakainde Hichilema.
And it must be removed.
Number 8, increase the ease of doing business for the current 50,000 local small and medium businesses across all sectors of the economy. The outcome of this measure is to increase the country's GDP and raise people's income to afford your high cost of living, UPND. This measure will translate into an additional 50,000 informal jobs approximately. And number 9, we are calling you to impose a 10-year moratorium on government borrowing with immediate effect. You cannot be double-tongued, condemning the borrowing of the Patriotic Front, and yet you have borrowed more than them in the 3 years you've been in power. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yes.
You need to place a moratorium. What was good, what is good for the goose?
It's good for the Ghana.
Goose for the Thank you very much. Chiwami na mbuzi. Thank you, President Harry Kagabo. Chiwami na galu. Noti.
Not the other way around.
Thank you very much. And lastly on this one, number 10, stop the Cold War economic politics being fought in our country. Zambia has been non-aligned. This battleground of Western and Eastern ideologies on Zambian soil should stop.
Yes.
Zambia is for Zambia.
Yes.
And because of your political posture worldwide, that is now beginning to affect Zambia economically. President Harry Kalaba spoke to that in as far as SADC is concerned. At household level, because as a country we've got historical economic differences and disparities, it is imperative that we fight the high cost of living at household level. Number 1, some of the solutions that we are offering is that you need to review and reduce individual taxes for households, for members of households. What is the motive and the outcome of this measure? Is that we need to increase household spending.
Yes.
I repeat what I've said before in the past. A modern economy grows by households spending.
Yes.
That is why we've seen some economies in the West writing checks to households for them to spend. Number 2, give tax incentives to families with children. Because you always tell us that we do not give you solutions. We are now giving you solutions. Already we have given you more than 14. We are still giving you. We're still giving you. Give tax incentives to families. Why should a family that was affording to buy a bag of mini meal fail to buy a bag of mini meal in your dispensation? A family of 5. You need to begin to give tax incentives for families, single families who've got no children, and families with children to increase household spending.
Yes.
We are proposing to you that we need a national savings initiative plan for families. so that the families can be able to pass on the wealth to the next generation of those who are coming after them. Mr. President, this is being done right in our nose in our country. We have got Zambians, or not even Zambians, of Indian nationality who have specialized in this saving plan for families. This is what we expect from your government to encourage people, not selling our precious assets for a song to your friends. No. Can you focus on the Zambian people? Yes. Mr. President, I've got news for you. We are tired. Read my lips. We are tired of politics of lies and fake promises. Yes. We want politics that focus on the Zambian people. Yes. We want politics that speak to the real issues that the Zambian people are facing. Yes. We are so tired of politics of grafts. We are so tired of being promised that we'll eat tomorrow. Insala nilelo. Kabili insala kapondo. Tulefwa we want to buy a bag of meal. We want to have medicine when we go to the hospital. Yes. We want an economy that works for the Zambian people. Yes. We want households to begin to function today, yes, Mr. President. And lastly, on the families, is that we are saying that enough of selling land, enough of buying land, that issue will be spoken to. But we want families to have recreational infrastructure for them to go and unwind. In case you do not know, there are many mental cases now in Zambia. People are committing suicide. Marriages are breaking. Businesses are closing. People cannot be normal. At least, Your Excellency, at least please, we need a country that works for the Zambian people. And as I conclude, I want to speak to the local businesses, because I am mindful that the Zambian businesses are undergoing a lot of economic stress. Number one is that end load shedding. I would like to quote again the Republican president, President Hakainde Hichilema, who once said that load shedding is as a result of poor planning.
Poor leadership. Not planning, poor leadership.
Vakateka Hakainde Hichilema, more by economists. Now my if I'm back doctor, no but Dr. Hakainde Hichilema mkwai. My nobody me pay a doctorate muri economy. Limon mwoma kwata mano yonse muno Mzambia. Twafirishe niko. Load shedding ipwishentu apapata ile loline. According to the word that you said. Bakusoma bantu kushako. Ata bantu bananda shana. Grafi namule chita Mzambia na kumbira. Aba bantu, do they know what we are going through? So ababa lebeba twabelela ko ndefe mwana lesala ndiyatibelele tabeshibe so kakuli abaleba tepele shokula bebefe baleba bepo obufi ala tabeshibe fo tule pitamo tabeshibe okwe batwa chachisa pali bale baba baka Jensen kachi please stop the load shedding now. Yes. End load shedding now. Russia offered us, we had the privilege and the opportunity to meet the Russian ambassador. And we were told there is a proposal on the table to build you a nuclear plant free of charge. And the Patriotic Front started that. One nuclear power plant can sort out Zambia's energy needs. Why is the president not taking up our colleagues, the Russians, who went further to train engineers in the same regard? Why is he not taking them up? It goes back to my earlier point. Stop the Cold War economics on Zambian soil. Yes. Let us maintain the friends that we have had. We have got old friends that have stood with us. The Chinese, the Russians themselves, and other friends. We need to embrace them and take them at their word. And secondly, as I conclude, review business taxes levies, and licenses associated with the cost of registration and running a business. The outcome of this economic measure is to reduce the cost of living.
Yes.
But President, I don't know what you really think of your people, the Zambian people, the UPND administration.
No one
And I want to say this, you are out of touch with reality.
Indeed.
Zambians are suffering. Zambians are going to the market with commodities and come back home with nothing. Can you come up with local intervention measures for small and medium local businesses? Don't just give tax holidays to your friends
Yeah.
in the mining sector. And you are even proud parading them on TV that these are my friends. We don't want them to be our friends. We just want to have an economy that works for us,
Exactly.
that works for the Zambian people.
Yes.
And lastly,
The final.
alati wakuleka alabauka tuli bakuleka mwana kashani ibo mwabalanda tamakwata solutions olondefu okuchita post statement pakuta nomba tuchite critique balabalanda tatwakwata. And lastly, suspend withholding tax on income rental for Zambians on both residents and commercial, and improve the collection of rents so that Zambians can have more money to spend. Zambians can have more money to spend. We urge President Ichilema to starting the government machinery towards tangible economic deliveries. Not to tushimi. Twanaka no tushimi. Nama graphs. He was elected to ease the suffering of the Zambian people, not to increase their economic pain.
Exactly.
Talking is good, but results are better.
Exactly.
Time for fake promises is over.
It's over.
It is time for a fresh start. And that fresh start is in the United Kwacha Alliance.
At this point, let us allow President Kalaba to take his leave. He has another appointment. But thank you, sir, for your delivery.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the sixth Republican President, you have heard for yourself the issues that are being raised, and my fellow UKA fellow president. You know what has happened in this country, and thank you so much, President Silawe, for that delivery. I have never seen so many people on the roads selling. If you find a guava, kamango, you go on the streets to sell a little mango. It's not right. It's not right to treat your people like this. I would like to speak about something that should concern all of us as Zambians. And I want to call this looting of the Zambian taxpayers' money legally. Sir, you are a lawyer. Legally, meaning you are using the system to loot what belongs to the Zambian people. So the Zambian people are just watching, and there is nothing that they can do about it. Please ask them to. They are just watching, and there is nothing they can do anything about it, because it's a legal means that you are using. But you know that you are looting the treasury of the Zambian people. The nation was rudely awakened to the news that government was purchasing an 8,000-hectare Chagwa farm belonging to Zambia for $13.5 million. dollars, not kwacha. There are so many questions that Zambians need to ask and hold our government accountable for. And we must demand answers regarding this purchase. Now, you may be saying, what is the big deal? This is just a normal business transaction. Except that it is not. Allow me to explain what is at play here. Number one, why buy or from its own reserves of land for little or no cost? What has happened to the farm blocks that government itself set up but which have not taken off due to inadequate infrastructure put in place because of underfunding? It is exchange equity market. Zambi's valuation is at 543 million kwacha, or approximately $21 million. Now, this $21 million includes Zambi's Simpongwe farm, Huntley farm in Chisamba, and the same Chiawa farm, as well as its processing plant at Master Pork along Leopards Hill Road, amongst other assets. Mpongwe farm is by far its largest assets, with 46,000 hectares, of which 10,000 is developed, while Chiawa farm only has 8.2 thousand hectares, with only 2,000 hectares developed arable land. The value of a business is not necessarily the cost put into the business plus any further investment, because that business could have gained or lost value depending upon the circumstances. We know that BII, a company from the UK, invested 65 million in Zambia in 2016, and yet today the value of this entire company is only 21 million. What is that telling us? Clearly, the company is not as robust as is expected, and Chiawa farm cannot be an exception to the rest of the company. Hence, we can conclude the sale. It is highly unlikely that Zambia would be disposing of its most profitable farm.
No.
So we ask, what due diligence work has been done to arrive at this decision? What valuation work has been done on the Chiawa farm? Who conducted the valuation? What was the valuation model used? What future cash flows have been projected? How does an underdeveloped 8,000 hectares convert to 13.5 million? This is about 64% of the total value of Zambia.
64%.
0.3%. Of course, the entire valuation will have liabilities, but surely some of those liabilities will relate to the Chiawa farm as well. Why would government make such a purchase? The maths does not add up.
It doesn't.
Is there a conflict of interest?
Definitely.
Now, what I've explained above, even if you were just an ordinary business, not a government, but an ordinary businessman, you would go through this whole process that I've talked about to value Chiawa farm, and you'd still, somebody would say, why are you buying this farm? But here's something that is interesting, and Zambians should listen to this. What I've explained is strange by itself, but stranger still is who owns shares in Zambia. We can only assume that the motivation for this acquisition lies in the ownership of this company. It's the only plausible explanation why government would make such strange purchase. The Bill Group that I spoke about, they own 17.5% of this. African Life owns 13.31%. First Equity owns 8.48%. And then National Pension Scheme owns 8.25%. Obviously, there are some other small shareholders. Now, let's look at this second largest shareholder, that is African Life. It's owned by two shareholders. One is called Menno Management Services, and another one is called Botswana Insurance Fund Management. Meno Management Services owns 81,600 shares, that's 51%, and then 78,400 is owned by Botswana Insurance Fund, that's 49%. So, who owns Meno Management Services? According to the Registrar of Companies, Munakupia Hantuba, you've heard that name before, and Valentine Chitalu, and these have been President Hakainde's business partners in this company. Mleumfa. Mlekutika. All these strange decisions being made seem to indicate a serious conflict of interest by the president.
Can you repeat that the way you did with me? Who owns those companies? The names, please.
So, Meno Management Services owns 51% of African Life, which is the second highest shareholder in Zambia. Botswana Insurance Fund Management owns 49%. Now, Meno Management Services is the shareholders are Munakupia Hantuva and Valentine Chitalu, who are President Hakainde Hichilema's business partners from inception in this company.
That's not right.
All these strange decisions being made seem to indicate they seem to indicate a serious conflict of interest by the president and his cronies.
Yes.
What other conclusion can we reach? This probably explains why the decisions that do not make sense to the logical mind have been made. Number 5, as I pointed out, Zambia has not been doing well financially. The question to be asked is, was the government making a strategic investment? Did we need to invest in Zambia? Or were they bailing out a struggling company? Let the Zambians judge.
Feels like a bailout.
We would like to remind the government that taxpayer funds are not for the top leadership to abuse and treat as their own, investing in whatever venture that they see fit without following due process. We are aware that the government has since backtracked on this deal and are saying, no, we haven't bought it. But we all know this thing, had Zambians not made a lot of noise, it was a done deal. It was a done deal. Now, this thing has been talked about a lot in the last week. And you may be wondering why we are bringing it up. We are bringing it up because we have an appeal to make to the Zambian people. We would like to ask Zambians everywhere in this country, wherever you may be, to be very vigilant and protect Zambian resources.
Yes.
Very,
Protect your own.
Vigilant. Don't keep quiet. Become whistleblowers.
Yes.
Wherever you are, report shady deals entered into by anyone, regardless who the anyone is. Report shady deals. Anyone who enters into these deals that do not represent the interests of Zambians and of this country. We've only got one country.
Imagine.
And although we have a lot of resources, these resources are being channeled out, not to the Zambians, but to other people.
Shame.
As UKA, we are resolved that we shall commit ourselves to run government in a transparent manner.
Okay,
Not that you just hear it, oh, Shazambi, whatever it is. We have resolved to run a government that is accountable to the Zambian people and not putting the interests of a few individuals or people from outside ahead of the interests of the Zambian people. We have resolved to manage the country based on sound economic principles. And we have resolved to hold one another accountable. We have resolved to do that, to hold one another accountable as a team, and not to allow a messiah to dictate the way that things are done. I want to thank you so much for listening.
I'm sure we have all heard. You know, the speeches that I've heard from the president and also from the chair for UKA Alliance, something was coming to my mind. And I want to ask for permission. Please let me bring it out in a minute. It is reminding me of the biblical alliance that was there then in the Bible. That alliance was laid by Nimrod. He had actually talked to other members that let's build the tower that is going to connect the earth and the heavens. And these people were so much united, they spoke one language, they had one purpose, and they said, we are going to do this. Can you imagine that even God in heaven, he said, these people, what they've decided to do, no one is going to stop them. And they will make it. So the only thing that I can do is to go and disturb the language. They must not speak one language. The way I am seeing this alliance, it is the first in the history of Zambia. There has never been an alliance such as this. It's unique, it's different, and my appeal to the Council of Presidents and the other presidents in UKA is that please, may you tighten the agreement. May you work together as Nimrod and the other colleagues, because the tower you are building is going to liberate the Zambians. Please, that is an appeal. And having said that, we would like to take a set of questions from the media house, the houses that are present here. We will give you under a minute, and we'll take 3 questions from those that have questions. And please, you have to give us your name and the media house you are coming from, so that we can document that one. Can I have 3 sets of questions, please? And like I'll quote what the SG for UKA said, please don't give a speech. They've already given the speeches. Give us the questions so that, and please direct the questions to the chair. And the chair will know who is going to deal with the questions. So can we have 3 questions, please? May you give me your name and the media house you're coming from.
My name is also Kapanka. I'm from Pride TV. It's unfortunate that Mr. Kalala has left. He spoke about the relationship between Zambia and Zimbabwe. And he spoke exactly to the former president to work with the incumbent to mend that particular relationship. So my question is the former president willing to work with the incumbent president to mend the relationships between Zambia and Zimbabwe? Thank you.
Question taken? Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Malazi from Protestant. My first question, I want to find out when are you likely to unveil the Alliance Manifesto as the first week, considering that we only have about 2 years or less than 2 years before the general election. And then my other question maybe is to the former Republican president. He has made several pronouncements, with the recent one where he addressed mayors and chairpersons that he will be on the ballot in 2026. Has there been any endorsement from you, the Alliance members, for the former president to stand? Thank you so much.
Question taken. The last one in the first set.
Mine is Alemba from News Diggers. So my question is directed to the former president. I just wanted him to give us...
All questions, please, directed to the chair. The chair will know where to channel them.
All right. So my 2 questions are, the first one, I wanted the former president to just give a comment on the the president getting the honorary. And then also I wanted him to, I don't know, do you feel the recent call out from Dave on Madam Priscilla Lungu is some sort of an attack still on the family, or is just yeah.
Thank you so much for those questions. I'll ask the chair to address them.
Thank you so much. The person who asked the question on SADC has disappeared.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that question. One of the things that we have said a number of times is the sort of friction that we have created in this country wouldn't have happened if some wisdom was applied. And if I'll answer this in this way. If I were the president, and even if I didn't like the former Republican president, I would actually go to him, bring him close, send him on assignments. He would not have joined the fray as we are seeing now. He would have stayed at home and gone to SADC, gone to wherever, and I would have kept him busy. He has said that he's prepared to, he would talk to the president, and if the president would send him anywhere, he would have gone to SADC too. He's asking to be sent. He's asking to be sent. Does that answer your question? Thank you very much. Yes, yes, please.
I think, thank you. Just to, first of all, when you are asking questions, let us, first of all, limit ourselves to what has been said. Otherwise, we lose direction. Okay, on the issue of His Excellency being available to be sent, our president is a statesman, and President Lungu is a statesman. He's available to serve the nation. However, I think it's also necessary that the same one who would like to send him should not be insulting him. Some of you are aware of the insults that were heaped on His Excellency in Tonga. Get the translation of that. I think as one of the papers I had tried to interpret that, that's not acceptable. What we call for is dialogue, okay? Yeah, dialogue, and therefore no forceful. That dialogue will not only concern His Excellency alone, but attacks on the opposition, incarceration, arrest of the opposition. That is part of what is needed for us to be, as a nation, to be peaceful and united. Very important. Secondly, I believe that if I would propose if President Lungu be sent, he can be accompanied by VJ Mwanga. VJ Mwanga? Yes, because he's a personal friend of the Zimbabwean president. The two of them will do wonders to bring peace between Zambia and Zimbabwe. We need Zimbabwe. We need Zimbabwe. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to speak to the issue of when are we announcing or making our manifesto public. That question, is it Mr. Matthew who answered that? Yeah. I think, again, in the last presser or the other presser, this issue came up. Then we were 11 political parties. First, when we were 8 political parties, we said we need to marry these manifestos because we need to get the best ideas based on strength for the Zambian people. We want to have a solid plan. We don't want to have an 8-point plan which has got no backing. The manifesto itself is a very small document, but the policies behind those announcements are quite large. From 8, we moved to 13. From 13, just last week or the other week, we are now 16 political parties in the United Kwacha lands. So again, that means that those that have come in also, for them not to be left behind, we need to also look into their manifesto and add it to the draft that we are preparing. My anticipation is that before the end of this year, the manifesto will be unveiled, and it will be a huge event where we unveil the UKA manifesto. So it will be unveiled because technocrats are already sitting and making sure that these pieces of documents are being interrogated. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. The $1 million question, or the million kwacha question, is 2 million.
Ante has gone now.
2 million.
Chora with that.
$13.5 million.
$13.5 million is the former Republican president was speaking somewhere and he indicated that he would be on the ballot. I think we have heard, so here, let me explain the dynamics here. We have all these political parties who are in this alliance, and what we have said is that any one of us at the right time, and it won't be too long from now, we shall be discussing this issue. In fact, just to let you know, we are going to discuss this issue this coming week. And we are going to decide how we'll choose a president, who, the way forward. And we would love to be given that opportunity to do that. Meanwhile, when I, as New Heritage Party president, go to my people, am I going to say, no, me, I can't be president? I mean, is that even possible?
No, it's not.
I go there and I tell them, we are going to have the first female president in Zambia. You see what I mean? He is also entitled to go to his people and say that. Harry Kalaba went to his people and said the same thing.
I also said the same.
You also said the same. So, any one of these...
I'm a candidate in 2026 and I'm available. Are you aware of that?
Why would they follow me if they think I'm not potentially a presidential candidate? Why would they follow him? Do you see what I mean? So please understand the context in which that statement was made. All of us, we go to our supporters and we say, Vane, Heritage Party, Chishala Kateka for president. Yes. I hope that is clear.
You are all potential presidents.
Yes. Now, with regards to this honorary degree, I believe the message from UKA, not just from the former Republican president, is congratulations. What else can we say? Congratulations, you are a double doctor.
Dr. Double.
Before we have more questions, please, we are only taking questions from the press. That's why it's called a press conference. Right. Before we do that, I would like to announce... there was a final question about Madam Tassila Lungu. I think the question was, do we see it as being politically motivated?
Being persecuted as a family.
Being persecuted. I think that this issue has been discussed quite a lot by us as UKA, and the manner in which it is done suggests that it is not just an ordinary call out. You see what I mean? Here's a person who is on maternity leave, is out of the country. They are aware that he's out of the country. And then they send a call out and say, tomorrow at 11. Do you know how many hours it takes to fly from the States? 21, at least 24 hours. You know? So, our cry, our plea is, can the enforcement officers be professional? That the lady is not running away. The lady has just given birth. So why would we do this at this time? You see what I mean? Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make an announcement. Okay. I would just like to make an announcement. President Silabwe has indicated that we have moved from 13 parties to 16 parties. We have been joined by the Green Party. They are in Kitwe, so you won't see by Sinkamba, President Sinkamba.
Sounds great.
Yes, we have been joined by him. We have also been joined by Robert Chansa of Revamp Development Party, RDP. He's the youngest presidential candidate in Zambia.
We thought it was Slavery. We thought it was
We have been overtaken. And we have been joined by President Cosmo Mumba of
Welcome.
Your Excellency, the 6th President of the Republic of Zambia, the initiative by UKA, or Council of Presidents and political party presidents. Chibemba chitira mulembo wa chipuba wadulire muli tumfwe. I'm popularly known as One Cosmo, a student of Michael Chirufyasata School of Politics. I've joined Walker to confuse the enemy. And you know the enemy. I'd love to take this opportunity, Your Excellency, before I just announce our decision as a party. Our party has made its decision at the full council to join UKA. But I'd love to take this opportunity to spend a minute of silence in honor of our colleagues that have died because of poverty for the past 3 years, caused by the same enemy. Thank you. The problem with the crisis of the X generation is our brains as youths have been damaged, and the UKA has come there to panel beat those brains so they can come back tomorrow. I quote President Michael Chirufyasata. We are here to join UKA, and we shall not fear. We shall not be afraid. We know that God is with us.
Yes.
Whatever people are going through, God is with us. So we know, and we are appealing to His Excellency, if it's possible, maybe cells or prisons just meant for politicians can be made so that we go there and plan more. We speak, for a long time. I've been silent for a long time. So our plan is to ensure that we countrywide tour, and the journalists, we wish to appeal to all of you that our time has come. 8 from 6 political parties, we're talking about 16, which means the number is increasing. Very soon,
numbers don't lie.
Very soon you'll see. Hello, Chitikenomba, the vice chair, Alobufi. I cannot lie to you. So we cannot lie to the people. We'll just say we'll perform and work with the people of Zambia. Yes. Thank you so much, UKA, for accepting our application. We are ready to work with you without fear or favor. Now, I thank you.
That sounds great. I told you it's the strategy of Nimrod. The strategy of Nimrod is working. The alliance is becoming stronger and stronger every day. Can we have the second set of questions? One, please give us your name and the media house you are coming from. And please, it's only questions, we are taking questions only from media houses, because they are the ones that have been invited, and this is actually a press briefing. So only from media houses. Your name, please, and where you're coming from.
Yes, my good morning, our father of a nation, and good morning to presidents of political parties.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Now, my name is Mishek Mungeli Nyirongo, and I'm going to speak as a citizen. I'm going to speak as a citizen because I don't want to drag. My question is directed to our father of the nation, and I'm making this emphasis. I'm not dragging him into any politics. I'm not dragging him into any politics. I want to get knowledge from him, from the experience that he has. I just want to learn something from him. I'm going to draw my questions from President Silavwe, where on his third point, he mentioned about minerals. Gold was also mentioned. Then going forward, he talked about the refinery, which was started in the PF regime, where we are expecting the Russians to build it for us for free.
Nuclear power.
Oh yeah, the nuclear.
Not refinery.
So the question that I have is what can Zambia learn from Burkina Faso's new president, Traore Ibrahim? 2 years down the line, they have built the gold refinery. But we have gold here in Zambia. What is wrong with Zambia? Don't we have the capacity? Africans. How can we be poor with a lot of wealth, mineral resources? Where is the missing link, sir? This is not a political question. And then the second question, it's in relation to the building of the tower. Okay, way back, people had gathered to start building the Tower of Babel, and for them not to continue, their languages were confused, and that's why they stopped the project. So the question is, because is it acceptable that all of us here, we are using other people's language to communicate? It's a shame even me, I can't speak my own Chewa fluently. If you look at the new education system where they're trying to review, would you advocate that we remove away that notion where if a student fails English, yes, if a student fails English, then they are not given a certificate? That has been a standard measure of intelligence. And if you go in the compound, when they see you speak English, they think you are wise. Can we do away with it? Because even most of us here, we are building a generation where we are teaching our children other people's languages. Is it acceptable? Does it make sense? Do you think this is where the confusion comes from? Where can it develop?
All right. Can we have another question, please?
You are speaking very good English.
Can we have another question? Yes, please. Under 1 minute, please. Under 1 minute.
Thank you.
Media houses.
My concern is
Which media house?
No, I'm not from any media.
No, you can. It's from media.
Just
Let's respect the media. Let's give opportunity.
We will give the media house first the opportunity.
It's respect also to the media.
Yeah.
We cannot invite the media and then have non-media people to speak. That's not respect.
Can we have another question? The second question from the media house? Yes, please.
No, it's not media, this one.
You are not media as well?
No, it's not. No, you're not. The media is done. Yeah. No, it's not. That's just
Okay, so your question has been disqualified. First, we give to the media people.
Media not valid.
The media, mulikuisa
Valid.
yes, at least another one. We need another set of questions. But media, mulikuisa.
Don't force them.
So now I have one more questions. Maybe we can ask. You can ask. Please. Be brief. Under 1 minute. Under 1 minute, please.
Thank you.
Your name,
concept of my network, I mentioned. From Baton Chilupia Kawina, a member of UKA. My point is, when I see presidents like gathering like this, it makes me happy also. But what is on the ground is what we need to be concerned of. A lot of people, they've changed their mind to say they want to vote out this regime that has caused poverty in the country. And when we see presidents, each time you call for a press briefing, we usually come and we have a presser, what and we are seeing the person that we are trying to remove in power is that kind of a person who is not willing to leave that seat. And that we need to keep in mind. PF, when you go on the ground, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa, people have gone to every comparison. They are comparing the previous regime and the current regime. And they are saying they are tired with this regime, the current regime.
Wind up, please.
Yes, that's my point, that's what I'm coming to. My point is, the concern of the citizens are, the only challenge they faced with the previous regime was the cadreism issue. So what measures, because they want to hear it from you, when they see the president being part of UKA, they see everything as PF. And so the concern of the citizens are, what assurance are you giving to the people outside there to say, we are not going to have the capitalism that we experienced by then? Because when you talk of infrastructure and other things, it was perfect, and everything was perfect. So the only challenge was capitalism. So people want to hear what measures are we going to experience the same thing if we are to vote you as UKA in power. I thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for those 2 questions. Should we take yours as well? Promise me you're going to do it under 30 seconds. Under 30 seconds, I will allow you. Above that, then I'll just throw the questions to the chair to address them.
Thank you very much. I'm Joseph Shimba, coming from the grassroots media, as we take 3 steps ahead every day. I want to appreciate you, our president, again, for coming together for the purpose of one common goal of winning an election and to serve the Zambian people in 2026. I want just to remind the Zambian people outside there, and His Excellency Mr. Akainde Hichilema, that the future and the power lies in the people, not in himself to say I'm going to be there for the rest of my life and nobody can change me. Power belongs to the people. We have been advising President Akainde but day and night, telling him that you cannot fight corruption when people are living in poverty. How do you fight corruption? Because corruption breeds corruption. Poverty breeds corruption. So we want to advise as grassroots media to our president to get united. And I want to repeat the same thing. We don't want Judas Iscariots who are going to support the Zambian people. Because you are here because of the Zambian people, and our vision is to see unity, love and forgiveness in the alliance, where you can say we are one people to serve the Republic of Zambia. Right. May God bless you and continue. So I mean as soldiers of this country. Thank you.
Thank you for those questions. I would like to channel the questions to the chair, and the chair will be able to allocate who should take the questions. The chair, please.
Start with that one.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the 6th Republican President, my colleagues.
Please speak. Because, yeah.
I just want to correct his statement. Akainde and this new Dawn government, they have never fought corruption. They haven't been fighting corruption. In short, in Zambia, there is no fight against corruption. Had it been the case, all of us, including the former Republican president, we should have joined Akainde Because every one of us here is in UKA, we detest corruption with perfect hatred. You understand? And when we form government as UKAs, we are going to form in 2026. I'm telling you, we will make it harder for corruption to thrive. Okay? Akainde hasn't been fighting corruption. What has he been doing? He has been fighting the opposition, political party leaders, and the former Republican president together with his family. Fighting your perceived enemies and fighting against corruption, they are two different things. So he hasn't been fighting corruption, or else we should have joined him.
Thank you. Please come. Yes. Can you speak to this Traore issue?
Oh, yeah, Traore. The former president of the Republic of Zambia, the chairman of UKA, the president is available, the media, the crashers, you know, this is an important day, and just like what I've been told to say, I need to speak about Traore. Traore is one of the youngest presidents that we have in Africa right now. Within a year, he's done a lot for that country. As in 3 years, we are still pointing out at those who left. You know, this can just tell you to say we have failures in power. 3 years is enough time to correct things. What is it that PF destroyed? Munga kwenze nkondo kuti in 3 years. Whatever you do over PF. Whatever you do over PF. That's why I say Uapona. But now I think Zambians are tired of that story. 3 years is enough time. We need to see change. Just in 1 year, Traore has changed this country there. And we are seeing the results. Don't say TV on. Manje men wanzatu wamene wakamba no, we are economists. Why wakangiwa? To change the same economy which they claim that they went to the university to study. When study economics ya chalo home economics ya vopika. Because sometimes I fail to wonder why the people who claim to be so educated and who understand the economy better are failing to run the exact things that they studied at school. We are now suffering. A majority of Zambians now are suffering. But see what is happening. They are watching themselves. Mandram. Every day on a newspaper, here we are fighting now suing a bomber, wampa sandrama. Na cases mwamnaendela stia ona. Ma 2 million ya fungoenda, 2.5, 2 million. Munaona ko freedom fighter wamena funo ulipiliwa. Imagine if our forefathers in 1964, just after fighting for independence, they started now suing the government for compensation. Was Zambia going to be there? No. Wazimbela konsoni. Zambia is broke right now, as they are saying. Why should they be awarding themselves monies all the time? My concept of judgment, akasuwinga here itapera na kumbali zampa sazaso.